Hello. What day is it? I don't even know. I have a watch to tell me what day it is. Thank goodness. It's Saturday. I figured I'd come on here and talk about a few things because I am having an incredibly difficult time focusing today for a multitude of reasons. So I think the main, root topic of this video is going to be about chronic pain and maybe sensory issues as well, which could relate to neurodiversity and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I keep going back to re-watch my videos and trying to figure out, I got two cameras. I mentioned earlier on Facebook about this Pixel 7, this Google Pixel 7 versus my old Samsung, which I think is a Galaxy 10 or 11. I don't know, I have to look at it again. This Pixel is, I want to say I don't know, what is that, a 1/4 inch or maybe a 1/2 inch at the most with the case, bigger than the Samsung. And I have little hands and it is annoying because my thumb does not reach all the way across the Pixel when I'm trying to swipe, and it is aggravating. So that's probably not a problem for most people. I'm like 125, 130 pounds and like 5 foot, not even 5'4". So, you know, I'm like vertically challenged people. We could go into reasons why I think that came to be another time, but yeah, is that a sensory issue or is that just a preference? I don't even know anymore. This is a whole exploration for me because, you know, being 40, and I was diagnosed gifted when I was young. And I was probably like 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I was young and it was very apparent that I was like way ahead of other kids, but no one ever talked about how giftedness, the other parts of giftedness. So, you know, I'm just kind of seeing the similarities in being on this. It's on the spectrum. It is. So let's see. This phone is on Instagram, and this is the Pixel. This phone is Samsung, and this is on Facebook, and this, like I said, this is a Samsung. So I'm always going back to look at the cameras because I'm like, one of these makes my eyes look like I got black little demon eyes. I don't know, like brown, dark. I used to know somebody, we call those burnt hole in a blanket eyes. Like, hello. So first of all, I'm just gonna put my face on. This is what do I call this? Borg, for my Star Trek friends. Borg face. Nothing. Nothing yet. I'll talk more about it at some point, but you know, I have a background in body care. I started back in like 2010 and got more into it around 2014. So Natural Organics Body Care. My personal favorite brand, and I've received lots and lots of samples. I'm not compensated by this company, but Andalou Naturals, I'm sorry. If someone knows how to mirror on videos on Instagram and Facebook, please write in the comments so that I can figure it out, because I know this is reading backwards when you see it. But Andalou, I don't know if they changed their line, because they used to have only like less than 5 products that weren't vegan, and they contain things like honey and milk, but they changed them because one of my favorite face care products that I used to use before I was vegan had cow's milk in it, and now they changed it so it's got like coconut milk or something. So I'm like, good job guys, thank you. Like, you know, they were one of the brands that when animal testing was mandatory in China, refused to sell their products to China. So I believe that's changed, and we can look into that and talk about that another time. Maybe that's like, I don't know if my partner's ever interested in doing any videos with me, but he's really into like animal rights advocacy, and he's involved with PETA and other organizations, and maybe that's, I'll have to ask him, maybe that's something we can talk about sometime. Things like that, ethical issues that have to do with things. So everybody's skin is different. So when people come in and ask me what's the best skincare product, I'm like, what's your skin type and what do you have going on? Because it's always going to vary. So I have this Andalou eye serum, which I like a lot. I don't know. I think for me it helps a little more with like puffiness, because I've read about this, but like dark circles under your eyes can be genetic and really just have to do with how thin the skin is under your eyes and like the I don't know, I guess the capillaries or whatever that are under there. So sometimes there's not really you can do much about it. It can, from what I read, also have to do with allergies, which I have tons of allergies, and immune system fun issues, which I've had people tell me that they think I have an underactive immune system, and I'm like, actually, I'm more on the overactive, almost practically autoimmune side. I mean, I guess you would say I am, and I can talk about my health stuff more another time, but I suffer from polymorphous light eruption, which means like I can't, like going out in the sun is a challenge, and I can make another video about that, but I don't have an answer why specifically. I just know that it is a thing, and all I can say is that's my immune system reacting. So that's the eye serum. This orange line is like the brightening line in Angelou. I'm going to use this purple one, which is their anti-aging line, on my forehead because my skin's a little different there. This is the, can I get it? Night. It says night repair cream, but you can use it in the day. The biggest difference between night and day creams is night creams are usually thicker. So that's the main thing. But this night cream has resveratrol, which comes from grapes in it, and coenzyme Q10. Is it helping my skin? I don't know. I'm 40. What do y'all think? Do I look... I get a little bit of like, I think I'm starting to get the crow's feet around the eyes. It's probably from like giving the WTF face to people a lot. This is their oily acne prone line, this blue one. And this is like their spot treatment, which I don't know what my skin's doing right now. Being 40, you go through a lot of changes between 40s and 50s for, you know, people like that are assigned female at birth. And I'm sure I cannot speak directly, but my trans female friends have told me about a lot of hormonal changes that happen when you go on hormone therapy. So like it is going to affect your skin. This is their oil-free moisturizer. It's not real thick. I use this on the rest of my face. Also to help with like, it's funny how you can have dry, sensitive skin, but still get acne issues, like, you know. And I'm actually, it's gonna be weird, but I actually use this on my upper arms because after I had a kid, weird things happen to your skin. So I think we all should talk more about the things with our skin because there's a lot of stigmas around that. So I'm supposed to work in like an hour, and I have had the worst time getting up today. I did take melatonin last night, but it really varies in how that affects me. I'll show you the other products I'm using. This is Nubian Heritage. This is a New York State product. This is a business owned by and started by people of color. This is aluminum free. We can go into another video about why aluminum is not great for us, but I haven't used it in years. And this is the coconut papaya. I'm not going to put it on in front of y'all. It's a little weird. We can do follow-up videos later about this. And I don't like to use a lot of scents, and I'm really sensitive to scents. But this is Pacifica. It's like a body and hair mist, and it's called Sunrise Moon. It's like peach, cardamom, and mandarin. So this line is really neat. Like they used to do solid perfumes, which I guess they got rid of. I haven't seen them on their websites. So we can talk more about brands, makeup, other things eventually. I don't look too cute today because of sensory things. Like when I'm having a day, I'm like, I'm gonna put on what feels good on my skin because, man, other than the fact that I'm vegan, I also have this super rare lanolin allergy, which is, you know, lanolin comes from sheep's wool. And I discovered this when I was quite young because, like, if I'd wear a wool blanket, not only would it be itchy, but I'd definitely get a rash for sure. So I can't wear anything with wool in it. Not that I would want to now as an ethical vegan, but I can't use any products with lanolin in it either, which is used as an emulsifier in many products for skincare, which is scary. Like they put it in stuff for your eyes, And so like when I have to get drops from my eyes, I have to look for that, because I'm like, can you imagine like if I put lanolin in my eye, like the disaster that would be? So yeah, so I don't look too cute today because I'm like, I need to wear soft material because I'm just like so sensory overloaded. And part of it is I've been dealing with chronic pain for like, I mean, a flare for like a week. And I had to go last year to the emergency room for it because my back literally like seized up. And they told me what they thought it was at the time was my sciatic nerve. And I was supposed to go to physical therapy for it. And I didn't go at the time because I watch my daughter during the day, and then I have to go to work at night. And physical therapy, like, it's just they're not open on the weekends. I didn't have anyone to help me with childcare. So maybe if my back seizes up again, then insurance will want me to do physical therapy again, which I don't want that to happen. But if that's what the chain of events that has to happen in order to get that through insurance, like, then maybe I'll do physical therapy now that my daughter will be at school. But we'll see. I'm trying to avoid that. Like, I've been taking CBD a little bit, but I don't like to take it too much because I don't want to bring my dopamine down too much. And I've taken a little bit of ibuprofen, but I try not to take that. I will tell y'all, like, I made a post about it earlier, and I'm not talking about my health issues or my pain issues for sympathy. I'm gonna make that very clear. Like, a lot of people chime in and like, I don't know, for one, as a person with CPTSD, like, that makes me uncomfortable because, like, I don't know, like, it's just that feeling like that we want to be seen as really strong people, and it's like, so when someone's like giving you like what you perceive as pity, it makes you feel weak. So yeah, like, that's a narrative that we tell ourselves, but I don't know. There's more that could be said about that, but it's also that thing of like when you grow up and you're emotionally invalidated, that like you get told that talking about your problems is attention seeking. So it's like, I don't like to talk about these things to get attention. I like to talk to them to process them, like, because it helps me to like think about it, and it helps to make other people aware. And also, like, talking helps me to focus more. And this is something I've been talking to people about. Like, at my job, we have a lot of neurodiverse people, and a lot of these traditional management styles, they always have this attitude like, we need to split people up. They're not getting work done. Like, yeah, sometimes people get distracted and they talk too much, but sometimes I feel like, especially neurodiverse people, like, we need to have some type of meaningful, deep discussion that is going to light our brains up and engage our dopamine. And then if we can learn to cut the conversation off at a certain point, then we can go do our work and really hyper focus. And, you know, I see like employers don't seem to understand this, because they'll be like, oh, such and such person, like, they can work so hard. And it's like, but we can't do that the whole shift. It's like, you can get a neurodiverse person to really like hyper focus and bang out their work in like, you know, X amount of hours, but you have to give them social time too. So you can't also take that as leadway to say like, oh, like, they can do more work than neurotypical people. Maybe more efficiently, but it comes at the cost of, like, for me at least, initially, I really, really try to like learn a system really hard and almost think too hard about it, where I'm slow to pick up new things. But once I get them, I'm more efficient than the average neurotypical person, because I do it the same, like, I like to do it the same way every time. And I can deviate if I need to based off of factors from my experience, but like, you know, I don't think that we should have this expectation that neurotypical do this much work and neurodiverse people do this much work. Like, that's not, like, y'all got to be reasonable here, you know? Like, we all have our areas that we excel in, but like, let's not take advantage of people in one regard or another. So, I don't know. I'm sorry I'm all over the place. Like I said, talking helps me to focus, and that's kind of why it's a trade-off, because I'm looking at my clock today like, man, I woke up later than I wanted. I'm having problems getting going. I know I got some low dopamine issues going on, and you could see me going on live as like, you're going to be late, you're distracting yourself. but it's really helping me to regain my focus, and also with the physical pain to like kind of take my mind off the physical pain. This is a very sidetrack thing, and I don't know if you guys are into crystals. I'm still kind of learning and like trying to keep an open mind about the idea of crystals, but this was a weird thing I noticed today on my keychain. My previous stalker partner, I had given him back almost everything he'd given me, and I forgot that I had this on a keychain, and I noticed it recently, and then I noticed today that it broke. So if you believe in, you know, superstitious-y type things like this is a rose quartz, which is supposed to have to do with like relationships and love and da-da-da. And you know what, like, I'm not really upset that it broke. I feel like it's a good thing in my life. So I don't know if I'll keep it. Maybe I'll use it for something later. So yeah, sciatic pain. Ooh, like there's a whole cycle that can go into more with CPTSD, stress, how stress and adrenaline affect our gut, how this causes problems for people. I just posted a video the other day on Facebook. If you're not on my Facebook, I'm Elise VAW on Vegan Atheist Witch on Facebook, but I also run Vegan Atheist Witch, which is a page, but I don't post as much on Vegan Atheist Witch as I do on my personal page. But if you go to Vegan Atheist Witch, you'll be able to get to my personal page. I can link it here too. But I post a lot more videos. I should at some point, I know my partners mentioned this on YouTube, make some list of the videos that I mentioned, because there's a lot of videos that I share with people, and then they just kind of get lost in the sauce. Like, I need to make a list of like my recommended best YouTube videos. So yeah, like that chronic pain, it can be a cycle. Like the pain is raising your adrenaline, which is making you more stressed out, and you're releasing more adrenaline, and then it's messing your gut up more, and then your messed up gut is making you sluggish, and like it's like and I'm going to say, I'm not a medical expert, and I'm not diagnosing anybody or telling anyone what to do, but, you know, there's science behind this that they can now show how adrenaline affects our gut health. So I've been trying really hard. Like, I don't want to take too many medications. This was the Facebook post that I made earlier saying that, you know, I've had a lot of friends and family and loved ones who suffered with addiction issues, and some of them, usually people who have a hard time quitting, it's because they have something internal that they don't want to deal with, and that substance they're using is numbing it out. But some people, not maybe in conjunction or separate from that, you know, mental trauma that they're dealing with, also have physical pain. And I have known people who have had surgeries, who've had, you know, physical things happen to them where they have to go on some type of medication, and then they get into the cycle of addiction. So, you know, we have to be a little less judgy towards people. Yeah, it doesn't excuse their actions, but to understand that not everyone like just made some haphazard decision to like get into this type of lifestyle that now they're like trapped in. So it's I, growing up with a parent who struggled with addiction, have really tried to avoid that. Like, I kind of had this rule, like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, because it's like, if I try it, what if I can't stop? So it's hard for me because dealing with pain, like, I will take CBD, I will take ibuprofen here and there, but I know ibuprofen is not great for your gut or your stomach to take on a regular basis. If you have to take it, I'm not telling anybody not to take medication. If you have serious medical problems and that's what you need to get through your day, you have to do it. I mean, I've been taking about 600 to 800 milligrams of ibuprofen over a day, which is not a lot. Like, I've had a surgery where they gave me 800 milligram ibuprofens in one pill. I don't take them unless I'm at like a 10, because I just don't want to do that. And I feel like they lose their effectiveness over time, which, you know, if you learn about neurochemicals and receptors, that's a real thing. And that's why also with substance use, like, people don't get the same effect because your body's trying to maintain that thing of homeostasis that we're talking about. So I will take ibuprofen, or I can take naproxen, I think, but I can't take Tylenol because I found out after many years of taking it and getting sick that I have the genes for Guillain-Barré syndrome, which some people will say is not that significant, but you know, if you read some of the studies, it does show that some of us with those genes have problems with detoxing certain medications. And Tylenol, like if you've ever heard some people have a problem with Tylenol and it can cause liver damage, I'm having trouble with words again today. I was also trying to read about this earlier, but I think when we're stressed, our brains turn off a little bit of our, you know, like language center. So what was I saying about Tylenol? Yeah, some people have a problem with that, and my thought, it's not really the right word, but like my impression of it is that people with Guillain-Barré syndrome genes are probably the people that are going to have more liver toxicity from Tylenol. For me, I always knew that that was a potential thing for some people, so I just never took a lot of Tylenol in general, but I've had a few surgeries where they gave me like the, I don't know, is that like Vicodin, where it's like the acetaminophen stacked with like something else? Hydrocodone, is that what I'm thinking of? Y'all can tell that I'm not into substances. But that stuff made me so ill, I was like puking, just like puking up water, and had to go back to the hospital. And I didn't know that was why. And now I know, like, so it's a weird thing. Like, Guillain-Barré syndrome can actually make your, the way that I also found this out was that I had a high bilirubin count on one of my blood tests. And they were concerned because a lot of times high bilirubin means that you have something wrong with you. But in people with Guillain-Barré syndrome, it can just build up because of that gene. But it can, I guess in extreme circumstances, you can get more of like a jaundice type effect from it. I have to go grab a hair tie, and I will be right back. I'm trying to keep my eye on the time. So this is a tricky thing, like with sensory issues, with pain issues. Like I have not been able to get started today. I've not been able to get my dopamine going. I tried to put on ambient ASMR. It was not working. I opened the windows, like trying to get some fresh air in here. Still not happening. It's just been a really, really rough morning. And this affects me in ways of like food sometimes, which is a whole nother discussion we can have about food and diet and weight, and, you know, probably talk about some borderline ED type-ish things that some people experience, which might not even be ED. They just might be being on a spectrum. Some people have certain things about food. So sometimes it's just like I'm too over or understimulated, and like I know I have to eat and think about food, but it's like almost overwhelming sometimes. So I'm probably gonna have the bad habit of like grabbing some type of like bar when I go into work, like some type of like, I don't like to eat oatmeal a lot because I feel like it's bad for your blood sugar, but like sometimes it's like the lesser of two evils. Like I will grab like a Bobo's bar because like that's like, since I'm gluten-free and vegan, that's like the donut for me, you know. I think we have to forgive ourselves that we can't be perfect all the time. This is where I'm questioning, do I want to do more makeup today? Because I'm not really feeling so hot. I think I'm just going to do like naked face, kind of, even though it's not without makeup. So what I ended up having to do eventually, usually for me personally, I think in this country we're a little obsessed with like the idea of hygiene, and granted we just had a pandemic, so that's understandable. But I, with my skin issues, had eczema from like the time I was a year old, and it's about 95% under control now, and I can talk about that in another video. But I don't shower every single day. I used to not really take showers at all because I would feel like it would strip all the oils out of my skin. But it's like about every other day. And today I was not planning on taking one. I was planning on just doing a quick like clean up of myself. But then it was like my pain, my sciatic pain was so bad. And it's like, along with the sciatic pain, I have a lot of other abdominal type issues. Like I've been told I have IBS. Like I've been told I've been diagnosed with interstitial cystitis, which is like inflammation of the bladder, which they believe is autoimmune related. I had surgery and they told me I had pelvic congestion syndrome, and that surgery was for endometriosis, which I had like stage 1, I think. But pelvic congestion syndrome has to do with your veins in your abdomen. So like when you have varicose veins like in your legs, usually you can see those visually, but when they're in your abdomen, varicose veins, you really can't see them. So that affects I have whole theories about like that I could go into this and like how all these connections go together. But that affects a lot of things. Like your veins are supposed to push the blood up to your head and all over your body, and like with pelvic congestion syndrome, you can get pooling of the blood in that area, which is, it sucks when you like have issues with, you know, body things. Sometimes you're like, how can I wake up in the morning and look so different than like later in the day? Why am I so bloated? But like, it's literally the same day. But sometimes that's because of the pelvic congestion syndrome. And sometimes it's bad if I stand too long or sit too long. Sometimes I have problems when I take a shower. I usually sit in the shower because of the way that I have problems with the blood flow. If the hot water hits me really fast, and Dr. Andrew Rosenberg, I think, talks about this in his adrenal fatigue video, but for some people like me, like the low blood pressure type of people, get in the shower, the hot water hits you, and you get certain neurochemicals that affect your blood pressure. Your blood pressure can really like kind of drain out of your brain and almost make you pass out in the shower. So I usually sit in the shower. But I saw a very interesting video by Dr. Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist, and I will repost it on Facebook, but he was talking about hot saunas, and I would assume this applies to showers too, but like how they affect what I believe what I was talking about on one of my last videos, like the endogenous opiate type system that we have, and the dynorphins that are released. So I think that what he was trying to say in that video, and I'll post it, was that there are effects that like these hot body type of therapies can have pain relieving type properties and dopamine increasing type properties, which makes sense because the dopamine system and the pain system are related. So it's interesting. And from a sensory standpoint, that also like that feeling for me of like, be safe, don't do anything that's going to hurt yourselves. But like, I'm like that meme of like the shower, like the person in the shower, the little demon that like once the shower is hot as hell, like that's me. And I understand that there are benefits to like the cold plunge therapy and the things that people do like that, but that is like I'm not saying this for y'all can do what you want, but like it's, to me, it makes me cringe, the thought of getting in a cold, and I'm sure it might make them cringe too. They just like the benefits of it, but I'm like, from a sensory standpoint, that's like hell to me. Like no, I'll take my hot shower any day. So, you know, nobody's perfect. We're doing what we can do. What everybody needs to make themselves more comfortable is going to be different. So, yeah, just absolutely sensory overloaded today with the pain, with the adrenaline, with, I don't know, maybe I got a lot of stuff going on. So finding the ways to kind of self-regulate again is the challenge. So I think the sweet spot for me was hitting that hot shower today, and you know, just talking things through, and it's we live in a weird world with social media. Like, I'm home alone today other than my dogs, so I don't really have anyone to talk to. So a lot of times there's no one to talk to. So I'll watch videos that are kind of like mentally stimulating. Like, I post a lot of stuff on my Facebook gets very deep into like scientific topics, and like it helps me focus. I know a lot of people love to watch podcasts while they're doing chores, they're working, they're doing their dishes. Like, it helps you to focus on one thing instead of all the other things that are going on around you, especially for someone like me who has hyperphantasia and like all of the things related to that. So, you know, get to know yourself, get healthier over the steps over time. And I can talk about my journey of, physical to mental health journey that I've been on. But the more you get to know what it feels like to be healthy and what your baseline for your body is, the more you can work with it and find the things that work individually for you. And anybody, I am open-minded and always listen to new information and what works for other people, but like, you got to do what works for you, like, in what is healthy, like if you're doing something, you go to your doctor and your blood results are all screwed up and like they're like, what the heck are you doing? That's a red flag. Maybe you should reconsider what you're doing. But if it's helping you regulate, all your tests are coming back looking fine, like, the other thing we can talk about at some point is like, I would say like medical, like CPTSD related to the medical system. Woo, that's a whole topic. But yeah, like I just had someone I know who has been going for a couple of months. They've been very ill, and they kept being told by their medical support that it was just their anxiety because they've had anxiety issues, and they were putting them on all these anti-anxiety medications. Now, come to find out, this is a couple months later after they had been in the hospital for what they thought was a spider bite. Come to find out, it was a tick bite, and they have Lyme's disease. And like, wow, but it's like, I don't think the medical system means to invalidate people, but it's like, you have to self-advocate. So you have to know your body and know what is best for you. So I feel like maybe I missed some area that I wanted to talk about in this, but yeah, like, I don't know where the crossover for me is between neurodivergence and CPD. Sometimes I wonder how CPTSD in young children's lives affects the development of their brain. And we could say, like, is it all familial genetics, or is it familial behavior patterns and environments that keep perpetuating the brain development of people? That's a weird question. I'd say interesting question to get into at some point. And I'm sure they've done some studies, but there's a lot of crossover there. And labels are great because they help us to communicate things to people, and they help us to feel like we're not crazy for feeling the things that we feel, but you don't have to label anything you don't want to. Whatever it is helping you get through life. So I guess, like I said, I don't post these kind of things because, like, people be like, oh, those people just want attention, or like they think you're coming on here to get sympathy and like I don't know, like Care reacts or something. And it's like, I just want people to know that, like, we all struggle with stuff all the time. And it's like, but everybody puts that mask up, like, oh, I'm fine. No, everybody is not fine all the time. And the thing is, when you think that everybody else is fine all the time, like this is happy little, like, what was that? The Friday night TV back in the 90s where we used to watch, and every family just, like, their problems were so ridiculous and, like, not realistic. And it's like, that's not real life. Like, people struggle and have rough days. And, like, when we don't normalize that, then we think that there's something wrong with us. And I say, honestly, even to come on and make videos and talk about it, I think that there's a little bit of fear that people are going to judge us and be like the stigma of mental illness. You're mentally ill. It's like, stop lying, because I know everybody's degree of what they deal with is different, but everybody has good and bad days. So don't come on here and act like, something's wrong with people that are having a bad day. Like, it's okay. And that doesn't mean take your bad day out on everybody else, but that means give yourself forgiveness that, I wanted to do laundry today. I wanted to cook something before work. Like, guess what? It didn't happen. Am I going to beat myself up over it? No. Reset, move on, find a thing that works for you, get through your day, prioritize what you need to do, what you have to do, your survival needs. Like, I have to leave for work soon because I have to pay my bills. Like, the fact that I didn't get to cook is, it is what it is. Like, that's not going to burn the whole day down, but not going to work will be a problem. So we have to be forgiving of ourselves when we're struggling, because you can't get hung up on the fact that like, oh my God, my whole morning just got away from me. And that's a hard one to forgive yourself too with CPTSD and neurodivergent type traits is like, sorry, I just got a text message. And neurodivergent type traits is like this expectation that you should be able to do certain things a certain way, like this societal expectation. And it's like, you got to let yourself go from that. And you also have to understand that sometimes your brain is going to be in the focus zone and you're going to get so much stuff done. And then other times are rest times. Like, you know, like you can't, your body cannot just go all the time. So give yourself a little bit of grace, do what you can do. I always tell people sometimes, especially with CPTSD, but I think a lot of people learn this going through the pandemic, take it day by day. Like I said that to someone once and they're like, that sounds like an AA saying. And I'm like, well, I've never been in AA, but it's like, I've lived a life where it was like, you are in survival mode, and addiction and CPTSD are very much like both living in survival mode. So, you know, take care of yourselves, give yourself room, be forgiving to yourselves. Don't talk down to yourself if you don't get your whole darn list done for the day. And maybe I'll go back and re-watch the videos because sometimes my brain's all over the place and I'll think of topics I want to talk about, or if people have questions. Like I said, I'll definitely go into more of the medical stuff at some point. I think destigmatizing that is a big thing too, because people walk around on a regular basis, even me, like I try to communicate with people like right now that I've been in pain all week when I'm at work, and I'm definitely not working to like my regular, you know, standard, which is hard for me because then I kind of feel bad that like I feel like I'm not doing enough, but I have to take care of myself. So a lot of people are walking around in a lot of pain. Like I would say lately I've been at a 7 or 8. Like if the pain were to get much more worse, I would probably have to go to the urgent care or something. But, and it takes a psychological toll on you. So you have to slow down. But we forget that a lot of people are walking around in a lot of psychological and a lot of physical pain, but they're putting on this face like, I'm fine. No. You know, like just don't forget and be kind to yourself and be kind to other people. So yeah, I'll go through, I'll re-watch these and write a few notes and maybe follow up at some point. It's really random when I'm making videos right now. Next week and the weekend after, my partner's going to be here and I'm really going to be trying to, I need personal time because it's been like over a month and I've just been focused on my kid going to school and like, when you, like I said, when you get to know yourself, you see those connections that like, I'm not giving myself personal time right now. And sometimes that's how it has to be. But you also, at a certain point, that can only last so long and you have to do something for yourself or your body. Like I said in my last video, your body will make you take a break. So everyone have a great day. I got to head out in about 15-20 minutes and go do my fun weekend retail job thing, which I do like my job. It's been quite interesting lately, and I'm not going to go into a lot of specifics of my day-to-day stuff with my job, but you know, we don't all have the luxury of having a job that we like to go to, and I think a lot of that is the people you work with, but it can be the business you work for. But maybe that's another video to go into sometime, not specifics of my job, but maybe like talking about careers and my experiences and like how I've kind of just my journey, my work journey. We all have a story about that and what we've learned over time about that. So everybody have a great weekend. Like I said, I don't know when I'll do another live again. It could be totally random, or maybe I'll plan it on a day off, but I have a whole, what is today? I have a whole week where I have one day off and I have like 5 things to do on my day off. And then I'm going to be, sorry, but I'm going to be having me time. So have a great day, guys. If you have questions, let me know. I'm going to post on Facebook that video by Dr. Andrew Huberman about the sauna therapy, like the heat therapy thing, because that was really, really interesting. And it was like an hour long and chock full of so much information. Like I definitely want to watch it again because videos like that, even for me, someone who has like really great memory and like really, I don't know, like, you know, being gifted, like that has a special interest in those areas, I still have to watch them like multiple times, because every time I watch it, I pick up some new understanding about what they're talking about. But I think like learning and variety is the spice of life. So keep yourself learning, keep trying new things, keep doing new things. Maybe that's just me and the way my brain works, but I need to make some dopamine. So, you know, keep it fun, learn new stuff, try new things, get out of your bubble. And everybody have a great weekend. I will post that video, and if there's any questions or whatever, I'll answer those later. Thanks for watching.